Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to jump right into it. I got two of these galvanized signs from the Dollar Tree and I removed them from the frame and the little clips that were on them. I got a bunch of wood pieces that I got from Goodwill in this big box filled full of them. And I'm going to use that to make my washboard. I had to cut some of the pieces down. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with measurements, but this is purely for inspiration. So I wanted to have a detail on the top above the galvanized pieces. So I left an area there open until I decided exactly what I wanted to do. I cut a piece of cardboard to have as a backing for my washboard. And I used a combination of hot glue and tight bond to secure my pieces together. The galvanized panels fit right on top of each other perfectly. You can see I have them staggered a little bit. And this beautiful piece of wood I got on Temu, it has a lot of detail to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the sides off it so that way it will fit down in there. It fits perfectly, and I'm going to secure that wood right in its place. There's a lot of different things that you could do to make this, and the center where I'm placing this piece would also look really pretty with a picture or, just a plain piece of wood with a saying on it. I'm going to clamp this down until my glue adheres, and then I'm going to start working on my galvanized panels. And I'm just going back and forth with burnt umber, the color ink by Waverly, and also that rub and buff you see off to the side. I'm going to start off with the color ink, and I have a sponge that I'm just stippling on the color with. Next, I'm going to go in with my burnt umber, and I'm going to use the same method to apply. And this was really fun building up the colors. I want it to look old. And this is where I apply the rub and buff, and this is where it really starts to come together. And you don't have to design it this way. You could also leave the panels plain or maybe decoupage a napkin. It's up to you and what look you're trying to achieve. I applied some spackle, let it dry, and then sanded it down. And for your entertainment, I left this in here. Lesson learned. I divided it into a smaller container. The color that I'm using is called Simply White by Mud Paint. It's a clay paint and it goes on nicely. And I only needed to apply one coat. My panels were sitting too low, so I added some tumbling tower blocks to give them a little height, and that seemed to look a lot better. And I did use hot glue to glue them down in there. There's holes from where the clip was, and I put some burnt umber down just so you wouldn't be able to see the tumbling tower blocks through the holes. And I want to make this look old. So I went in with some moss paint, and you can see I'm just applying it sporadically all over my washboard. And then I do the same thing with antique wax. I want this to have an old world look to it, and lots of layers create an authentically aged look. I'm going to go over it with more of that Simply White. And this isn't completely dry. I'm going over it while it's still a little wet. Once that was dry though, I went around and I sanded it, and that just adds some detail and depth to my project. If you create this, just do whatever suits your taste. Next, I'm going to apply these wood pieces I got on Temu, and I'm going to put them on each corner. The ornate design of the scroll adds a lot of character to our project. I'm going to use some dark wax over all of them, just rub some on there. And I'm going to end up going around the whole board. Once again, I want this to have an old world look. I'm using more of that wax to go around all the detail, and then I'm going to just pull it all back with a wet rag. I'm going to highlight the scroll by going back over it with more of that Simply White. I think this accentuates the detail. It looks absolutely beautiful now, and I make sure to go over all my corner pieces as well. I'm using hot glue to adhere my panels to the tumbling tower blocks. I got these rub-on transfers on Amazon, and I'm just going to go over my whole board with them. I'm not going to have you watch me apply all of them. What do you think? I think that these give it an old French country look. To bring everything together, I sanded over those rub-on transfers. I'm going to make a frame around my panels using these wooden pieces I got on Amazon. And I'm just going to use hot glue to adhere them together. Adding this frame really brought the project together. I ended up using some ink by Waverly, and that's mixed with water. And I went over the whole frame, and then I wiped it down with a wet rag. And I did the same thing with the spindles. To glue the frame and the finials, I'm just going to use some hot glue. I got these roses from Hobby Lobby a while back, and I want to make the roses look like they're growing up the side. And these are really pretty. Off camera, I did go over them with some distress ink. It really brought everything together. I'm going to hang some jute twine on the back, and I wanted the option to be able to hang it up or just rest it on an easel, and it does look good both ways. For added security, I'm going to just go over it with some masking tape. And here's a look at our finished little washboard. I think I achieved the look that I was going for. Let me know in the comments what you think. I absolutely love this and I hope that you do too. And let me know if you'd make it. What would you do differently? What is your style? I'd love to hear from you. Okay, today is part of the What Would You Make challenge. Every month, this is hosted by Brenda from Rustic and Lace and Christine from Divine Designs. And our guest host this month is Katie from Lady Red Crafting. Okay, let's get back to the video. This board came from Goodwill. It feels like a cutting board, but it does have a hanger on it. I thought about painting it, but decided to use some cardstock instead. Down the road, if I want to remove it and do something different with it, I can. I'm going to use the board as a template for my paper. I'm going to use a glue stick to adhere it. And these work really good. I never used to like glue sticks. In fact, I wouldn't even buy them for my kids because I thought they were that terrible. But now I use them all the time and I have no problem with paper lifting from the surface. I'm going to do a 1/2 at a time, start from the top and work my way down. I want to make sure I don't have any air bubbles in this. I'm going to burnish it down using my hands. I finally got my hands on one of the chickens at Dollar Tree. The one here is lackluster and it's supposed to be the best one in our state, but it most certainly is not. I'm going to paint the whole thing using Burnt Umber by Apple Barrel. Kind of went crazy and used entirely way too much paint, but I just worked through it. I just went over the sides of the board with my sander. I'm going to use these letter stamps that came from IOD, and I'm going to write out the word farm fresh. This is my first time using the cursive ones. I don't really like how they look. I think next time I'm going to incorporate the print stamps that I have just to see how that looks with them mixed together. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I'm just not loving it. I'm going to use Distress ink in the color Walnut Stain. Somehow I deleted the footage of the little sign I made. I used 2 jumbo craft sticks that come from Walmart and just cut the ends off them and glued them down to my board. And then I used some more of that Distress ink and just put it around the sides. Sometimes I just like the natural look of wood. I mean, it's really pretty and you don't always have to go over the top to make something look good. Let me know what you think about this print, or if you have any ideas of what I could have done differently. I glued 2 tumbling tower blocks on the back of my chicken just to give it some height, and I glued that right down to the board. This is a super simple project. I tend to lean towards more difficult ones, but I'm trying to get better about just using what I have. I'm using this jute twine all around the sides. I don't know if you call it jute twine ribbon or what you would call it, but it does resemble ribbon. And of course, I'm going to go over the whole thing using my mini torch. All the little hairs that stick up out of it, I've gotten splinters from them before. I'm not making it up, seriously. It's a thing. And this is how it came out. I hope you guys like it. It's a super simple project, inexpensive, except for the board because I got that at Goodwill and their prices aren't always the best. But yeah, tell me what you think. And we're on to our third project. This one's super simple too. I found this board at the Dollar Tree, and I've been trying to get my hands on these. I can't ever find stuff there. I'm using a combination of ink by Waverly with some water, and I'm going to go around all the sides using a sponge. And I'm going to do the back too. I'm trying to do better about finishing my projects. You know, if I want to sell it down the road, I want it to look nice. I want someone to want to buy it. And having the mindset that no one will ever see it anyways, I mean, that's not always the case. I have a collaboration coming up on June 8th, and I've been on a kick of making a lot of my projects lately with animals. I dug out this old calendar and I end up choosing the raccoon for my frame. I'm setting the picture on the frame and carefully going around the edges so I know exactly where to cut. I'm going to use a glue stick on this one as well. I had a few air bubbles. I used my brayer and I also lifted the sides to remove the bubbles, and I did pretty good getting them out. I'll let you watch me finish it off with some flowers. My husband brought me home some of these sanding sponges, and so I tried it out and I was trying to remove some of the shine on this picture. It worked pretty good. I distressed it and added some Mod Podge, and that's it. Simple little project. And here's a look at our cute little raccoon. I think he's just adorable. And I really enjoyed making it. The washboard was the only one that took a lot of time. This came out exactly how I visioned it, and I absolutely love it. I think that's my favorite project, and I do love the little raccoon. He's adorable. I think my chicken sign came out cute, and that was also very easy, cost effective, and yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy these projects. I hope that I inspired you in some way. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to chat it up with me in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And don't forget to check out these wonderful, talented ladies and our playlist. Until next time, bye.